Hey folks, it's Matt Easton here. It's totally Scholar Gladiatoria channel, and it's totally another movie fight review. Here we're looking at Predators, featuring, of course, a fantastic Katana versus Predator scene that is the only sword fight that I noticed anyway in that movie. But let's have a look at it without further ado. So first off, of course, we have the protagonist has to take his shirt off because, well, why not? You know, it looks more dramatic. I suppose we could rationalise this by saying it allows for freer movement and all of this kind of stuff. And also it's kind of like, well, it's a bit of a Hulk moment, I suppose, isn't it? It's like, come on, you bastard. And there we go. Anyway, he's got his katana ready and he's got his shirt off and he's going to scare that predator, or is he? Swing! So I don't know why the katana makes the swing sword when it comes out of a scabbard, apart from the fact that we know that even like knives picked up off tables in movies make that swing sound, don't they? Movies love the swing, but you know, in reality a katana does not make that noise at all. First of all, it's a wooden scabbard, okay, so you don't get the noise when you pull a sword out of a wooden scabbard. But equally, katanas tend not to make that sound at all, even when they're coming out of a metal scabbard. And yes, they did have metal scabbards for katanas sometimes in the Second World War and the interwar years. And they just don't really make that noise because a katana blade is very thick and it just doesn't really make that noise at all. But anyway, let's get on to the fight. So in theory, at least, ignoring the fact that the Predator is bigger and stronger and just generally more hardcore and probably better trained with his weapons than the Yakuza guy with a katana that we don't know whether he knows how to use it or not. But just fundamentally, if all things were equal between the two individuals, the katana has definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, has the advantage in terms of reach and just damage potential in general, and then these kind of claw spike things. I don't know what the official Predator name of those weapons are because I don't speak Predator, but so the Yakuza guy definitely has the advantage of reach. Also point out why Yakuza guy has to have a katana. Why couldn't it, a bit kind of like, you know, like national stereotypes, the Japanese guy has to be a Yakuza, has to have a katana. Anyway, but definitely the katana has the advantage as a weapon purely. Although I would point out that he doesn't think about using the scabbard, and the scabbard potentially could be a useful extra weapon, an offhand weapon, because the Predator has two weapons on each arm, doesn't he? And admittedly, although the katana has the advantage of reach and leverage and everything else, the fact that the Predator has two weapons, it could have been advantageous to maybe use the katana one-handed, and katanas were often used one-handed, incidentally, and use the scabbard in the offhand for parrying and occupying the other person's other weapon while he uses the katana. But anyway, let's carry on with the fight. So the opening attack from the Predator, I have to say, I thought Predators were supposed to be highly trained, is a kind of backhanded swing with the back of his claws. It doesn't seem a very, in fact, it's just a diabolically poor idea for an opening attack. Okay, these are clearly weapons that are designed with thrusting in mind. By swinging like this, what you do is you open yourself up. You open up your arm and your side, your flank, to the opponent, and in actual fact the Yakuza guy just kind of hits the blades. He could have just lopped the Predator's arm off right there. Obviously this wouldn't make such exciting viewing, or actually would it? I actually think it would be hilariously funny if you had this big setup to this kind of Kurosawa type setup to the film, and then he just goes lop and chops the Predator's arm off. I think that would be hilariously funny. But anyway, there we go, let's carry on with the fight. Predators swinging everywhere. I don't think this Predator has ever used these weapons before. But of course Predator decides to throw him bodily through the air when he could have just stabbed him. But maybe, let's think about this laterally. Maybe the Predator's toying with him. Maybe he's deliberately fighting badly. And this is the sci-fi fans' recourse, isn't it? Whenever something in sci-fi is crappy, we always have an explanation for it, and I'm sure that a lot of you out there are going, oh, the Predator is highly trained, but he's like a gladiator, he's stringing out the fight, he enjoys the fight. Whatever, he could have killed him very, very quickly. Let's carry on. So crazy running banzai charge in a position that's a bit like posse di finestra or ox. They have similar positions obviously in Japanese kenjutsu. I don't know the names of them without looking them up. But kind of running stab. I think it would stand a larger chance of success if he kind of advanced within hitting distance before sort of showing his hand. Instead of going, I am going to stab you and I am now running at you, just holding my sword in the same position, is fairly predictable, and understandably the Predator goes ka-ching. Okay, I saw that coming from like 15 feet away. Thanks for that. Thanks for warning me what you were going to do. Normally you'd start in a position and you'd only launch the thrust at the very last second so that the opponent had the minimum amount of time to defend from it. But nevertheless, this guy is determined, if nothing else. Nothing to say about that exchange. It was just clang, 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 clang. It does seem a little bit like guy with the katana is not really aiming at the Predator, but kind of aiming at his claws. Very common in movie choreography, unfortunately, where people are aiming at each other's weapons rather than making it look like they're aiming to actually hit the person. Anyway, let's carry on. Ooh, Yakuza guy's preparing another one of his crazy charges with the sword in the ready position. This can't possibly work, can it? It totally worked! Who expected that? And that, my friends, is what we call a double kill. And that's why, in the world of HEMA, we try and avoid double kills. And admittedly, lots of people do lots of double hits and do this, but we try to avoid it as much as possible. Ultimately, he killed the Predator. He may have saved his friends' lives, and I'm never going to say that there isn't occasionally a purpose behind doing a double kill, sacrificing yourself to take out an opponent. But generally speaking, if you want to live, that wasn't a win. He didn't win the fight against the Predator. They both lost. On that thought, I'm going to leave you to ponder upon this. Bye, folks.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We have extra videos on Patreon and you can follow us on Facebook.